Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and the host of the Franchising 101 podcast series. Today, we're going to talk about perhaps the most exciting part of the FranCoach process with clients. And this is when we finally get to the point where we're going to introduce our clients to the franchisors we have selected for them. We're going to talk today about when we do this in the process, how do we get to that point, and what do people need to be prepared for once the vetting of the franchisors begins. But before we dive into all of this, let's first tell you who we are. FranCoach is a national search firm. We're dedicated to working with individuals who are interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with over 500 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 60 industries. Our goal is to help our clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own. Our goal of the Franchising 101 podcast series is to help educate people on all aspects of franchise ownership. So today we're going to talk about a part of the process we take people through. So we'll kind of back up to the beginning. So typically our first call with folks is a maybe 15-minute or so kind of, hey, get to know you a little bit. Is there some interest in this? And kind of walking through the steps. Our second call tends to be about an hour, and we just pummel people with questions to essentially build out what would someone's ideal owner role be, and what would their kind of ideal business model be within that. When we get done with that, then that's when we're going to start the vetting of the franchise or the research, for the franchises. And then our third conversation typically with folks is when we're going to have 3 or so franchises selected for them. And so on that call, we'll kind of, I believe we've got a podcast that talks about this a little bit more, but we'll give them a very brief understanding of the franchises, why we selected them. And then what will happen from there is at the end of that call, we'll have some basic information that we're going to send over to you on those specific franchises that we have selected. We're then going to have those franchisors contact you directly to set up the first call in the discovery process. And again, for more things on the discovery process, we've got a couple of podcasts specifically around that also. But it is a 6 to 8 week vetting process with the franchisors. It is incredibly thorough and intense. It is mutual. They are vetting you as well. Franchises are awarded. They are not bought. So you can whip out your checkbook at whatever point you want, but until that franchise says we'd like to award you the franchise, it ain't happening, right? So we are here throughout all of that process to help all the different aspects of the vetting. But at the beginning, it is both exciting and overwhelming. And so we get off the phone, and really, I always tell people within 48 hours, but it's often within a few hours, those franchisors, let's say we pick 3 out, they're going to reach out to you to set up that first phone call in the process. So for everything we're going to do, no matter when I'm presenting the franchises, if you think it's the greatest thing you've ever heard, or you're rolling your eyes at me, I don't care. You're going to have that first call with each of these 3 that we talk about. And so what'll happen is they're going to reach out, they're going to contact you. Sometimes they go old school and pick up the phone. They're going to send you an email, hey, there's so-and-so, Tim at FranCoach said we need to reach out to talk to you. You might be a great candidate. We'd love to set up that first call. Your focus at that point is responding to the email, clicking their scheduling link, whatever that is, get that call booked, right? So we've got that. Then from there, the first phone call, people sometimes are like, well, I've got to do some research and I got to get questions ready. And this may be a little counterintuitive, but I literally say the preparation you need to do for that first call is, number 1, get the call scheduled. Number 2, when they call you, answer the phone. And really at the beginning, it's just that simple. Because what's going to happen on the first call? They're going to a little get to know you, always kind of make the dating analogy with this, right? So the first call is basically we're having a first date for a cup of coffee, right? Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. That you have kids, where'd you go to school? Do you like long walks on the beach? Whatever that might be. Franchise is going to do the same thing, right? Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. Great. They're going to typically walk you through what their process is. Hey, first call, we really talk about business overview, and then it's marketing, and then it's operations, and then it's training, and then it's whatever that is, right? We'll get through everything with every franchise, but they all have a slightly different path. Believe it or not, the 500 plus franchises we work with don't let me dictate exactly how their process goes. I know, right? But they're going to walk you through that. And then typically they're going to start basically pumping you with info, right? It's a little info dump. The vetting is a little one-sided in your favor at the beginning, as they are really, it is a little info dump-ish at the beginning. And so you're going to have, all of a sudden now you're going to have 3, maybe 4 franchises plus perhaps a funding company. We often do those right at the beginning as well. You're going to have 4, maybe 5 conversations with brand new people, with brand new businesses, brand new funding options, and an absolute crap ton of information. So nobody wants to ever admit or think that they could possibly get overwhelmed, but pretty much everybody does at this point, right? So I want to back up for a second. When one of the really simple key elements of this that I tell people is keep a close eye on your email, because you are going to get a ton of things sent to you over the discovery process over the 6 to 8 weeks from the franchisors. They're going to be sending you just basic, hey, let's get something scheduled. Here's a couple attachments. We want you to watch this. Here's some videos. Check that out. Hey, we need you to fill this out and get it back to us. Not to mention the franchise disclosure document that's going to come at some point, intros to owners, the final steps, discover, like tons of it. So set up at least one folder that just says franchising. I'm a little bit more anal with my inbox, so I might set up one for each franchise. Again, you're going to have that much stuff coming in. Plus the FranCoach team, we're going to bug you as well, right? We're going to have resources throughout the discovery process to help you along the way and to be able to check in to make sure we're getting everything covered. So at that beginning, we get you introduced to the franchises on that call. We're going to send you a basic email and start the inbox clutter. And then we're going to have the franchises reach out to you, get that first call scheduled. And then when they call, answer it. Again, we'll get more detailed. You'll, of course, have some questions just from our conversation, even just as simple as getting on that franchise's website. But honestly, for the most part, those initial questions people have, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. It's going to be answered by the franchisor even before you get a chance to ask, because guess what? The things you're thinking are the things everybody's thinking at that point. And that's usually the intro part of their kind of presentation to you. Or people want to, money. How much can I make? How much it's going to cost? And quite frankly, that never comes on the first call, because if the business model doesn't match, it doesn't matter how much money other owners in that franchise are making, you won't ever get there, right? And again, like as we talk about these things, definitely some other podcasts on that as well. So it's really going to kind of start out from that standpoint, and then we'll progress. We will have calls with clients almost every week as we go through the discovery process to help you make sure that you're not missing anything, that you're absorbing all the information properly. It's easy to get things confused from one to the next. And as we get farther along, there will be some very specific questions that we're going to want you to ask the franchise or their owners to make sure, again, you've got the proper understanding of every aspect of the business. But at the beginning, it's be positive, be excited. Even on that franchise, if you roll our eyes at us when we introduce it, the eye roll franchises like to call it, is the winner at the end more times than people would ever imagine with that happening. So you want to always make sure that kind of you're in the driver's seat with that. If you come off disinterested or slow to respond, and then all of a sudden you kind of do talk to them reluctantly and you're like, oh, hey, this isn't bad. Their first impression has not been particularly good. You just showed up You showed up on that first date at, nice little bar for a drink, and you got sweaty workout clothes on, right? That's not a good first impression. You want to always be thinking of that standpoint, and again, frankly, for the most part, you're gonna be talking to good people, right? You're gonna get a chance to learn something new, and as we start eliminating franchises, that information is going to, from the one we eliminate, is going to help you as we move forward with the others. So that's a little bit of kind of what to expect once we get you set up, starting the discovery process, getting teed up for those first round of calls with each of the franchisors. And then again, we'll definitely progress from there. So for more things on the discovery process itself, the franchise disclosure documents, what happens when we get validation calls with owners, and even the discovery day. Check out podcasts on those specifically, and then again, the team at FranCoach, we're here to help you through all of that. So. Anyway, just wanted to touch on that little piece of this. As always, we thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of the Franchising 101 podcast series. We hope that this helps enlighten those interested potentially in franchise ownership to some of the amazing possibilities that are out there and some of the things that you need to be aware of as you move through the process. If you enjoyed the podcast and you have not done so already, please subscribe or follow whichever format you're on. So make sure you catch all of our new episodes when they come out. If you'd like to learn more about potentially becoming a franchise owner, there should be a link in your podcast window to our website, or you can always find us online at francoach.net. Never ever any fee for our service. So if you want to know if this is the path for you, we encourage you to take that first step today to help create your better tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe, and we look forward to connecting soon. Have a great day.